ที่ได้กล่าวไว้เมื่อสักครู่นะครับว่ามหาเดชอดีตผู้นำมาเลเซียมีบทบาทค่อนข้างมากนะครับในการเอาตัวแทนของกลุ่มแบ่งแยกดินแดนหลายกลุ่มกับตัวแทนรัฐบาลไทยมานั่งลงด้วยกันที่เกาะลังกาวีนะครับเพื่อหาทางแก้ปัญหาภาคใต้ที่เห็นในภาพนี้ก็คือตอนที่ตัวแทนของกลุ่มแบ่งแยกดินแดนทั้งหลายนะครับมีทั้งเบอร์สตูทั้ง BRN ทั้งพูโลนะครับลงนามในข้อเสนอที่จะเจรจาสันติภาพกับทางการไทยนะครับนี่เป็นการลงนามกันต่อหน้ามหาเดชเลยนะครับและข้อเสนอของคนกลุ่มนี้นะครับก็ถูกนำเสนอผ่านทางคุณอนันต์ปัญญารชุนอดีตนายกรัฐมนตรีในฐานะเป็นประธานคณะกรรมการสมานฉันท์แห่งชาตินะครับข้อเสนอเพื่อจะพูดคุยเรื่องสันติภาพนั้นก็เกิดขึ้นนะครับหลังจากที่มีการเจรจากัน2รอบแรกปลายเดือนมกราคมและรอบที่2ในเดือนกุมภาพันธ์ปี2006นะครับและข้อเสนอนี้ก็ถูกนำส่งไปให้กับรัฐบาลของคุณทักษิณชินวัตรในขณะนั้นแต่ดูเหมือนว่าไม่มีความพยายามในการสานต่อก็เลยดูเหมือนว่าการพูดคุยเพื่อจะหาทางแก้ปัญหาภาคใต้นั้นก็ยังคลากระสังอยู่นะครับ
แต่ว่าต้องไปฟังครับว่ามหาเดชนั้นมีแนวคิดอย่างไรเกี่ยวกับเรื่องภาคใต้ของเราครับ
You were involved in the peace dialogue between Thai government and representatives of some of the separatist movements, but the talks didn't seem to help with the situation on the ground, and I don't think there's been much of a show of appreciation on the Thai side. You think it was worth your try in playing the role of an intermediary?
It is always worth trying. I never thought that this is going to be easy. Everywhere else also it has taken a lot of time to resolve such problem, but it is not entirely impossible to resolve these things, provided there is a willingness on both sides to see the other side's viewpoint.
But in your talks with them, you had 2 rounds of talks with them, right?
Yeah.
Did you sense any common grounds between the Thai side and the separatist movement side?
Yeah. One of the things that we have to remember is that there is no one single group under one command. If you have one single group under one command, then you can talk to the leaders. But here I sense that there are many small disparate groups and they were largely acting on their own. So the people I talked to represent only maybe, I don't know, a fairly small number of people, small groups. So if you talk to them and settle with them, they appear willing, but they cannot tell the others, this is the line to follow.
I see.
That is a problem.
So you believe you were talking to the right people,
Yeah.
but that these people don't have total control on what goes on the ground.
Right.
I see. And we were told that at the outset of the talks, you told them, don't talk about independence, don't talk about autonomy. Is that right?
Yes, I told them because I understand that the Thai government doesn't want any autonomy. Of course, independence is out right from the word go, but autonomy is something that is not welcomed by the government. So I told them it's better not to talk about that.
And how did they take your advice?
This group accepted.
So when you talk these groups, I mean, who are they? Can
There
you
are
be specific?
3 or 4 groups, quite well-known groups. Some of them have been resident in Malaysia for quite some time, but obviously they have still links to the people in Patani and other areas in southern Thailand.
I see. And that you mentioned this, and then this brings up questions about suspicions that some of the Thais may have about you, because despite your efforts, I mean, certain quarters of Thai people, including those in the government, are suspicious of your motive. I mean, some even believe that these people have your support, and some of the terrorist acts in Thailand were even plotted on this island, your island. How would you respond to this kind of
there is no
accusations?
Truth. When we met in Langkawi, it was really to find a way out for this. We are interested because a lot of these people have got relatives across the border. They are not just residents of Thailand. There are many of them their relatives are living in Malaysia. So we have to take an interest to see that they do not unduly expose themselves to danger, to being killed for no very good reason.
But you're admitting that some of these people, I mean, are residents in Malaysia. But doesn't that give rise to suspicions that Malaysia is harboring some of the
So long as they
insurgents?
are not actively responsible for acts of terror in Thailand, they are welcome to stay here.
You mean you don't have proof that these people are involved in the terrorist acts in Thailand?
Not proof that we can accept. Of course, there have been accusations against them, but some of them are working here,
I see.
and they don't seem to be active.
I see.
I mean, our police, our special branch would know if they are active.
I see. They have links with those in Thailand, but how could they help?
Yeah, they could be persuade their relatives in Thailand and their people in Thailand to understand what the situation is like, how far can they go, what can they get, and to accept that there are things they can change, there are things that they cannot change.
And the fact that you were asked to help in the mediation, does it signal the fact that Malaysia is finally getting serious about helping Thailand resolving this issue? Because in the past, Malaysia had always been ambiguous on this question. On one hand, you were concerned about the worsening security situation there, but on the other, you didn't want to be seen as being too eager, I mean, to help.
Yeah, we would like to see the problem in southern Thailand settled. We do not like to see these people unnecessarily fighting and getting killed. And this, of course, is a matter of concern to us because they have relatives on our side. And obviously, whenever they feel they are threatened, they will run across the border. And the border is very porous. You just cannot stop them from coming here. So while we want to see them settle this issue, we also have to be very careful that we are not accused of manipulating them in any way.
But do they trust you?
Well, they wanted to see me, so I suppose if they want to see me, they think I can be of some help. Whether they trust me or not, I don't know.
And what about the Thais? Do they trust you too?
Well, I met some Thai officers, generals, and I talked to him. I think he's very sincere about wanting to help them. In fact, I met these people in the presence of the Thai general, and he explained to them what is the true intention of the government. And I think he was being very sincere.
Yes. But some people in Thailand see these who claim to be representative of organizations like PRULO, Bersatu, and BRN as being the old guards, I mean, who may not have any influence at all over those responsible for violence in Thailand.
It's possible that they have lost interest, which would be very bad because they are the people who have come to realize how far they can go. But there will always be young leaders, extreme leaders on the fringes in any such situation.
But you think this younger generation of leaders are willing to talk the way that these people were?
Well, if they see these people succeed, even to a small degree, they will be much more willing to follow the line taken up by these old leaders.
I see. You mean these talks that you have with them could pave the way for talks with the others on the ground in Thailand?
It's going to take time to convince people. You know, there will always be a group which will never be convinced, and these are the people who will like to create trouble. Also, there are other people who want to take advantage of the instability in the south. Sometimes it's not this irredentis, so to speak. Some people thought that, well, we can blame them for doing this thing, and why not we use this to extort money from some people.
But these people, the representatives of PRULO, Bersatu, and BRN, what did they tell you they exactly want